Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sky Media Ventures podcast. I'm your host, Nathaniel J. Carrasco. Guys, we have a super duper special episode today. A couple weekends ago, I had the great pleasure in getting to meet the great Les Brown and get to mingle with people who love that type of content and who've been listening to this man for decades and many years. And while I was there, we got to hear some great authors and great speakers speak on stage in front of hundreds of people. And I just couldn't resist but ask one of these authors, one of these speakers, to come on this platform and talk to you guys, the audience, on how they've accomplished something great. Now, our guest today is a young man named Cemel Garcia. Here's the thing with Cemel. Some people walk in a room and some people come in a room. Cemel is one of those people that when you get around him, you just want to get motivated. You just want to do something great. And that's the type of people we like to surround ourselves with. So, Cemel, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, and it's an honor to be in the presence of greatness.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love that. So Mel, I first met you and you had this aura about you. You had this confidence and you were speaking on stage in front of hundreds of people. Did you see that yourself ever doing that?
I seen it every single second, moment, passing, waking of my life. Every day, I'm consumed and overwhelmed. It's what people would call your beautiful obsession. I saw myself on that stage before I was ever even on that stage. Before I ever even had a microphone, I used to grab my comb and I would comb my hair and I would imagine myself there in the presence of Les Brown and the audience's reactions and me stepping on stage and how it would feel and the feedback and the people coming up to me, shaking my hand and telling them you have greatness within them, and they're able to do what I did and much more.
Wow, Samel, you really did what, I like to call convert liquid thought into solid reality. Dude, that you are inspiring. I feel like I'm looking at my future. You are who I inspire to be somewhat, and many people watching the show, love people who do that stuff. Tell me, how was it sharing the stage with the notorious Les Brown?
Oh man, it's an incredible experience. I can't seem to convey my emotions and what it is I felt and what it is I'm still even feeling now a week later after the event on being on the same stage with the greatest motivational speaker on the planet. And let the record show that. And just to be in the same stage with someone you looked up to, someone who's your hero, it was awesome. I've That's my dream come true, and it was just an incredible feeling. I'm still living. I haven't came down from that emotion, that ecstasy, that experience even a week later after I was on that stage. I still feel like I'm there just a second ago.
Wow, that's amazing. So Samel, a lot of people might dream to one day be on stage, very similar, like you did. Take us back in the beginning. How did you even get to the point where you had to, you had the opportunity to speak on stage with Les Brown? When was the seeds of greatness planted in you? And just tell us a little bit about your story. If you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I never thought I'd be a motivational speaker. I never thought I'd make it past 18 years old. I'm 20-ish now. I don't say They say you forget your years and your years forget you. I don't say my age anymore, but I'm in my 20s.
Sure,
But
sure.
I never thought I would live past 18 years old. Given my circumstances, given where it is I was born, given where I was raised in my environment, many few people have lived and overcame the circumstances that were around where we were, growing up in extreme poverty, having both my parents there, which was a blessing and something that was a huge advantage. But even then, having them being absent to provide, and my father dealing with substance abuse and alcoholism and smoking, and my mother always working, I went to the streets to try to find that nurture, that love, that belonging. And it led me down a very, very, very difficult path and a pathway of destruction and of loneliness and of hopelessness. And so for me to be here, it's just amazing. And I never thought I'd be able to do this, nonetheless, live my dream. And so I went through different various things in my life at a very young age. I went through some things and that I should not have gone through because I was young and I was vulnerable and I was taken advantage of. And what I come to find out is most people go through life doing what I was doing for years, and that is following my hurts and following the herd. And so I was impacted by my environment. It shaped me and molded me, and it led me down a path of destruction. And so, but one day I had a moment and I was on the verge of wanting to commit suicide. And I cried out to God, and the God that sits high but looks low heard my prayers, and that's ultimately what caused me to want to change my life. And I one day had heard Les Brown in the process of, and in going through these different feelings and emotions and discoveries of myself. And although I didn't know him, I felt like he knew me. And although I couldn't see him, I felt like he saw me. And for the first time in my life, someone believed in me. And so it caused me to believe in myself. Sometimes in life, we don't believe in ourselves, and it takes somebody else's belief in us for then our belief to kick in. And so I heard his voice one day, and it changed my life. And it caused me to want to pursue this life that I'm now currently living and being able to speak to you and speak to the hundreds of thousands and one day even millions and billions of people all across the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Is there a particular video or a particular talk that you listen to that from Les Brown that it's probably one of your favorites if you had to dial down to one or two of them?
Yes, I heard the Georgia Dome speech. And so it was him speaking at the Georgia Dome before 80,000 people. And so that's the one that I remember him saying, he said, "You have greatness within you." And when I heard it, it hit me and it shook me. And I was thinking to myself and pondering to myself, what if this is true? What if what he's saying is real? What if I do have greatness within me? And I attempted to discover that. And in the pursuit of that, I found out that we do. We all do. And it's something that's just in everybody. And what's in him is also in you.
Ooh, I love that. So Mel, when did you realize that you had a power voice? Something that Les Brown talks about a lot. He talks about people using their voice to affect people in such a positive way. When did you realize that you wanted to be a speaker, speaking on stage?
When did I guess the moment came to me when I began coaching, and when I began coaching individuals, I found out that a lot of people have went through the same experience I had been through, which was I was sexually abused and molested as a child. And being a man, being a male, I've dealt with other males and other men, and they had went through the same experience that I had gone through. And I knew that there was a need to support, to love, to connect with these individuals. And I wanted to be that voice of hope to the hopeless. And so that's where it is that I said, you know what? If I can be impactful in any kind of way or form or shape, even if it's just one person that I can touch, that I can help, that I can just be there or let them know that, hey, you're not alone in this, then that's when I decided, you know what, let me try to do the best I can. It just turned out to be speaking, but I was doing it as a counselor, I was doing it as a mentor, I was doing it in coaching, and I'm just doing it speaking now. But in any kind of way or form of, I like to just help those that feel like, you know what, there's nobody that I can relate to me, or there's nobody that knows what it is that I'm going through. And I may not know exactly what they're going through, but I've been through similar experiences and I want to let them know that, hey, I've been there and I've overcame that. And so can you.
You know what's so interesting to me, Samel? Can I tell you something? Some people's greatest fear is being on stage and speaking, or even just public speaking in general. But people like you and I, and especially you, have walked that path. And not only, I mean, we're not afraid, but we embrace it. That's which is a very, very special thing. If there's somebody watching this show right now, watching this episode, and maybe deep down they have a calling, they say a job is something you get paid for, but a calling is something you are called for. If somebody has a calling to be on stage and speak to dozens, hundreds, or thousands, what helped you transition to kind of be a speaker and create that belief in yourself that if somebody else can do it, so can you?
Well, I would say this: you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself and you have to just get out there. Right. You have to just, they say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. You have to decide to take that step today. And you have to understand that if it's something you want to do, then it's gonna be worth doing badly until you get it right. And so just
Ain't that
getting
right?
out there and trying and trying and trying and knowing that, like I had mentioned earlier, somebody needs your voice. If you're watching this right now, somebody needs your voice. Somebody can connect to what it is you're going through. You can be the answer to somebody's way of getting through that obstacle, through getting through that adversity, through getting through that tough time, that heartbreak, that heartache, that financial burden. And so understanding that you have something to give. I've been asked before by people and they say, "Hey, you weren't nervous when you got on stage?" Yeah, there's a degree of nervousness, and I think that's going to be with us all of our lives. And just with anything, it's a good thing
Well,
that
if
we have certain.
so, Mel,
And so,
if you were
yes.
sorry to interrupt, but if you were nervous on stage, you did not show it at all. This guy looked the most comfortable out of all the speakers. I'm like, this guy, he's the furthest thing from nervous.
Oh no, I was nervous. I was nervous, and but I think a part of it is and solving that nervousness is knowing that you're there for the audience. You're not
Mm.
there for you. You're there to give of yourself. And knowing that and walking on stage with that, saying, you know what, even if one person, just one person, it would have been me worth going all the miles to there, all the miles getting there, all the heartache that I went through in the process of getting there to getting on that stage, that everything would have been worth it if it's just one person I touched that day. And if I did that, then I accomplished my assignment by being on that stage. And so that's where I got my comfort. That's where it is that I got my, the power to want to get on stage and be on the stage and make it seem and look easy. But see, I've heard of this before one time. They said you get rewarded in public for what you've been doing in private
Wow.
for years and years and years. I see myself on stages, on stage. I see myself with Les, meeting Les, shaking his hand, and I imagined it in the deepest, uttermost parts of my mind. Even when I was far from it, I remember working all these different types of jobs and asking myself, Samel, how are you gonna make it to be a motivational speaker? How are you gonna get there? You're here, you're working at Round Tables Pizza, or you're you're a janitor, right? And but I always understood that, you know what? It's not where you get started, it's where you end. And so that's all that matters, right? And then direction is more important than the movement, right? And so, you know what? Just knowing that you're taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, making the most out of every second. There's 86,400 seconds in a day, maximizing each and every single one of those and working diligently and knowing that it's possible. Napoleon Hill once said that whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so just conceiving it in your mind, coming up with that plan, those steps of action, getting that resolve within yourself that, you know what, I'm going to commit myself and I'm going to keep my commitment to my commitment was
Wow.
something that's without wavering and you cannot compromise in. And so that was part of the journey, understanding that, you know what, I'm going to do this no matter what. There is no plan B, there's only plan A, and that's it.
Oh no, I love that. And you brought up Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
There's an edition of his book, and I have it written down in my version. It's page 251 to 253. I've memorized it, and there it gets in the book. It gets a little wonky, and I'm sure you've read that book before, probably maybe several times, if I had to imagine. But do you remember the part where Napoleon Hill was talking about having the conference in his mind with like all the people, like all the dead people in his mind of like Thomas
Yes.
Edison, of Napoleon Bonaparte, of
Yes.
Henry Ford, and all these people like weren't really his friends. He would just have a conference in his
Yes.
mind based on all the literature that he read on these characters.
Yes, I do remember him saying that in the book. And I remember just thinking to myself, and I thought to myself, what a peculiar way of thinking. And it was bizarre when I read it. But at times, see, we have to change our environment. I think that's what he understood in that context and frame of mind that when he had the idea. Because if you don't change your environment will change you.
Mm,
And they say
wow.
you make within, $2,000 to $3,000 as much as the top five people you spend the most time with. And so, you look at that and you got to get rid of all your broke friends. And so you want to start changing the environment, the people around you, something that I have a speech that I have, and I say you want to let go of the person, places, and things. And you want to let go of these things that are no longer serving you, right? And that's part of it. Cultivating that environment, getting around like minded individuals that can propel you to success. Relationships are the new currency. And so you want to build strategic, meaningful relationships with people that are going in the same direction you're going. They say, if you tell me who your friends are, I can tell you where you're going to end up at.
You hang around with four broke people, I think it's possible. A highly good probability you might be the fifth.
Well, they say this. They say if you hang out with four broke people, you're the fifth broke one.
You're not gonna be. You are the broke
You're
one.
the fifth one. Yes, because you're around them.
Oh,
Let them go. Let it go so you can grow. Let it go, or as Dr. Owner Brown would say, or be dragged.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Samel, I want to ask you. Zig Ziglar, another motivational speaker, says
Yes, I love Zig.
you could change who you are, what you are, and where you are simply by what goes into your mind. I want to talk
Mm,
about two specific things that I remember writing down, listening to your speech while you were talking on stage. You said to listen to informational, motivational, inspirational audios and become a reader. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the listening and on the well, we'll talk about the reading next, but tell us what do you mean by that? What do you mean people should listen? What does that even mean?
We live in the era that the late Peter Drucker called the area of the three C's: accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. You want a competitive edge. What's going to differentiate you between you and the last person? Les Brown, one of my heroes and one of the world's greatest motivational speakers, says you have to be hungry. In today's age, in the society that we live in, and in the world altogether, you want to have a competitive edge, and you want to be more knowledgeable than anybody else around you, really. And so a part of that is you disciplining yourself and you cultivating yourself and working harder on yourself than you do on your job or on your career or anything else by that matter. So you want to listen to motivational materials on a regular basis, constantly reading, because you want to begin to start reframing and changing your mind. And you want to do that constantly and every day with everything that's going on. When we think about COVID, artificial intelligence, and thousands of people losing their job, now more than ever, it's important that we take charge over our life, over our mind, body, soul, spirit, and our finances, but most importantly, our minds. And so you want to begin, like I mentioned, listening to something, but you also want to read. You want to listen to motivational speeches on a regular basis, and you want to read a minimum of 20 to 30 pages of something positive every day to begin to retrain and reprogram your mind. And I suggest you do it in the first thing when you wake up in the morning, which is when your brain is operating at 10.5 wave cycles per second, when that subconscious mind of yours is most impressionable and can be programmed into the version of who it is you want to be and what it is you like to do, and that person of success.
Wow, Samel, you are a true student. When you talk, it's like poetry coming out your mouth, man. That's this is a guy who's been listening and who's been reading for years, and this is the product, but this is not the finished product.
Yeah, this is just the sizzle. This isn't the steak.
Oh, I love that, man. Hey, what kind? I peeped the library behind you. I absolutely
Yeah.
love that. Give us a couple of books that really, in your mind, have stood out. To you that if someone's like, "Hey, I understand, I got to read 15, 20 pages, 30 pages a day." What are some material that you would, that you would promote?
Okay, first I would say you want to read Les Brown's newest book, whichever chapter,
Wait,
whichever chapter
are you one of
featuring.
the are you one of the authors?
Yes, I am. I'm one of the authors on Les Brown's newest book, The Power of Perseverance, Unleashing Your Greatness. I'm one of the authors featured on there. Get that book right now. You can get it for free for a limited time only, and then it's going to be at a cost. But right now, if you're watching this video, go get the book. The people worked extremely hard, extremely hard, and putting their life story on there, and people worked extremely hard on putting what it is that they knew would get the results that they have. Warren Buffett said, I can't promise a common destiny. No, he said, I can't promise a common result, but I can promise a common destiny. So if you go and you read this book, you read my chapter, any of the other chapters that the authors have written, they dedicated their life on expressing what it is that got them to where it is that they are there in their lives. You mentioned you see me on that stage. If you read my chapter in my book, and if you take any of the principles that I laid out in that chapter, even if you just take one, I can guarantee you that if you take just even one of those principles, it would revolutionize and change your life. And I know that because I am living proof and I've done it. Success, it leaves clues. And I took the time to put the clues on what it is I did to get me the results that I got. And there's a system for success and a strategy for it. And I put those strategies in that book. I talked about letting go, I talked about taking charge, and I talked about never quitting and never giving up on your life.
Oh man, I'm excited to get the book. I'm gonna text you after the show because I remember they offered the free book edition, but I was with a
It's
friend and we I couldn't snag it at the time. So after the show, I'll text you. And is it okay for the audience to get a free copy if they wanted
Yeah,
to?
yeah, the audience, if you go to right now to www.lesbrown.com or Les Brown Unlimited, it should pop up on the first homepage that's right there, only for a limited time only. And you're going to be able to get the book and download the whole book and have it as a PDF file on your phone, on your laptop, tablet, computer, and read the book. Not just read my chapter, take the time to read all the whole book from the beginning to end and reread it, right? Reread it. Go through it the first time to read it. My favorite book says faith comes by hearing and hearing. Hear it if possible. Once the audio tape comes out, highlight it, take notes, and go back to it. And continue to sharpen your mind, sharpen your sense of discipline, your self of motivation, and continue to work on yourself. This is a constant process that we have to undergo, and developing personal development and personal mastery is essential.
Oh man, that's amazing. Samel, give us a few more books. I know because this book just recently came out. What are some
Yes.
classic ones
Okay.
that you would recommend?
I definitely like As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. That's a
Oof.
really, really good book. It's a short read, but it's phenomenal. It has a lot of information, the short little pamphlet. I read it quite often. A good book that I really like also is Millionaire Habits by Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is a phenomenal speaker as well as an author. And which I really love Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And there's one more. Let me and this one, if you just want a sense of journey, a sense of adventure, I would say The Alchemist by Paul Coelho. I really like that book. I read it and I devoured it in my first reading. I liked it a lot. And it was just a beautiful book. And so those are the main books that I would suggest that if you're out there, read any of those books and it'll help you. And begin reading. The average American, they only read, I believe it was one book a year. And so if you read one book a month, in 12 months of 1 year, you already have read, X amount of books more than the average American does. And so
D-
you
Don't
want
you
to
d-
read your mind.
don't you love that
Yes.
concept? There was something that I grasped when I was 19 years old, and I said, it was other motivational speakers and other people in my life clearly defined this or clearly showed this path that said if you want to accomplish anything, you have to listen and read material on that subject. So I remember at 19 getting dozens of material and dozens of books on business, on sales, on leadership, on achievement, on biographies. And then 10 years later, I started getting a lot of sales, achievement, success, and people are like, wow, Nate, you're lucky. It's like, wait, wait, wait. No one was calling me lucky 10 years ago, when they didn't
Oh
see the
yeah.
results. But there was a formula. Like you said, success leaves clues. And I think success is also a numbers game. I have the
Yes.
great pleasure in getting to manage a sales team. And as I'm talking to them last week, I'm saying, hey guys, how many calls are we making per person? Because I think the person that puts in the numbers can predict success. You can predict it. So,
Yes.
like you said, you could predict success if you read one book a month. And to be honest with you, dude, I'm not even sure if people read one book a year. I would say probably the numbers are maybe even a little less, which is
Yeah. Yeah. You want to read.
which is sad, but it's also not sad to the person that's hungry because they're probably thinking.
Yes.
I've always said, and agree with me or disagree with me, but I always said it's easy to get ahead now because so many
It
people
is.
are just not trying.
Absolutely. You right now more than ever, you live in, I'm not sure who may be watching this, where it is that you're at, but let's say you're not from the same country of the United States of America where I reside. But right now, more than ever in the history of the world, it's now more easier to become successful more than ever with the technological advances that we have, with the medicine, with the access of resources and the internet and information. It's important now more than ever for you to become successful. And there's not much competition out here. All it takes is a little extra work to get that extraordinary, and then you're way ahead of the competition. So take that time while people are out there wasting their time watching sports or social media or whatever it is that they're watching, involved in these weapons of mass destruction and distraction to discipline yourself, to cultivate yourself, to develop yourself, and you will see that it'll be worth it. And you will see that what everything that you've done and all that you sacrificed in the pursuit of success will completely blow your mind and your imagination, and you'll just be in awe and in wonder that everything you wanted to do and accomplish and achieve because you decided to discipline yourself and focus, you can do and you are receiving and you will become and you will have.
Oh man, Samel, do you remember what Les Brown told us? Les Brown, this man is 80 years young. He wouldn't say he's 80 years old. He said
Yeah.
he would say he would say I'm 80 years young.
It is.
You know what's really cool about hearing him in that room that we were all sitting at, having lunch together. He was 80 years young, saying, "If I were you, I would take advantage of the technology that we're given and use
Yes.
artificial intelligence and implement it as soon as possible." He is the only person that I know who's past 50, 60 who has grasped that concept and understand how profound it is and not be afraid of artificial intelligence, but embrace
Yes.
it. And wasn't that inspiring? Like hearing him say
Yes.
that?
Yes, I think it was something that a lot of people need to hear now more than ever. They said that over 300 I think it was 340 or 320 million jobs were going to be lost to artificial intelligence. And so you understanding that, hey, you know what? There can be a part of you that doesn't have to be scared, that can embrace the change and embrace the progressive movement where we're going to, and not be concerned about, oh, yeah, are they going to come take my job? Knowing artificial intelligence, it's here as an advantage, and really just taking the time to learn it. If you haven't learned it, master it, or get with people that understand it, that they can help you and they can teach you, so that you can get this under your belt and you can put this in your tool belt, and this could be one of the skills that's going to use you to go to your future. And if you're watching this video right now, I suggest for you to learn it. It's going to be something important. It's going to be something that a lot of people are not going to learn, but a lot of people are going to learn. And I think that's going to be the differentiating factor between successful and not successful is the people that are leveraging AI, taking advantage of AI, learning it, and using it in their business, in their daily life. And just for them to know that this is something that's to use to my advantage. And it's a tool.
Yeah, it's like it almost like I think of like social media. I think of cryptocurrency. I think of the internet. And when these things like first came out, there was like this huge adoption process, and the people who adopted it fast and embraced it really benefited and leveraged, like the people who started their social media channels really early on, like the people who invested in crypto, like the people who understood the internet was going to be almost impossible to live without. I think the next one is AI for sure, and it's just embracing it and not being afraid. Like, hey, it's here. You have to adapt. One of my favorite books, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called "Who Moved My Cheese," and it's
Yes, I'm familiar.
yeah, Spencer, I forgot the author's name, but he talks about change is inevitable, but growth is optional, and change you have to adapt. Like it's
Yes.
always happening, so it's wise to adapt. And I just think this is a big adaptation moment.
Yes, they say expand or be expendable. You want to expand with the times. If this AI is coming, AI is here to stay. So AI is coming into the economy, into the marketplace, to the workforce. Know it, understand it, learn it, master it, use it to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mel, I want to ask you, what are some daily practices you like to go through just to keep you sharp and on edge? I mean, you're a motivational speaker. People are inspired by you. What are some just daily things you like to do to keep your mind sharp, to keep your spirit up? Is there anything that comes to mind as I'm saying these words?
Yes, you want to control the information that you're putting in your mind first and foremost. First thing I do when I wake up is I say all things work for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purposes. But then I also began to write down the things that I'm grateful for. I write 7 things that I'm grateful for. On the emotional chart, scientists and psychologists have found that gratitude is one of the most strongest and profound emotions human beings have. I write down 7 things I'm grateful for every morning. I journal every morning and I don't go on my phone for the first I call it my hour of power. First hour in the night, first hour in the evening, I don't go on my phone just to disconnect from everything that's happening on in the world, social media, the drama, and just everything that's going out there. I like what Les Brown says. He says, if you're going through something, he says, don't go around telling everybody. He says 80% don't care, 20% are glad it's you.
Right.
And so I get away from the phone.
Right.
Get away from the phone. Take the time to read something. I pray. I meditate, I go for a walk, I watch the sunrise in the morning, I walk my dog, or I'll spend time with my cat, and I just take the time to collect myself, ground myself, keeping the main thing the main thing. You want to know your worth and put yourself first. Take the time to take care of you, and I'll take a cold shower after that, and then I'll begin my day. Planning the day is extremely important. The day before you start your day, in the nighttime, I'd say write on the to-do list, create an agenda for your life. You either create an agenda for your life or you're part of somebody else's agenda.
Ooh.
Create an agenda for your life, create a to-do list, a task. I think they said that I think they I wanna say that it was when you create a plan, I think it's somewhere I think I wanna say it's 10%, it helps you increase your chances of doing something by 10%. I may be wrong, don't quote me on that, but you wanna create something that's gonna be you, you wanna create something that's authentic, you want to not make it rudimentary, but you wanna have a schedule for your life, right? There's 86,400 seconds in the day. The billionaire and the beggar both have 24 hours, but what matters is what are you doing with that time? What are you doing with the time that you've been given, right? I heard
Mm.
somebody say this. They said that life's our gift from God, but how we live our life is our gift to Him. And so realizing that you're here for a purpose, you're here for, you have a destiny, you're here for a mission, you're here on an assignment, and strategically prioritizing your time, your day, your to do list, and getting things done, taking action.
So Mel, you just your words alone, you're firing me up. Like my producer and I were looking at each other like, oh my God, he keeps dropping bombs. Like this guy, he's listened to his thousands of hours. He's read his thousands of pages. Like this guy is on point. Wouldn't you agree, Ben?
I could not agree more. I was gonna say you're making my job so easy over here, man. I'm the clip picker, and man, you've got this is it. I'm like over here. I'm like nugget, golden nugget, even golder nugget.
Well, it's like it's like
I know,
what were we saying, Samel?
I know you hear my footsteps. I'm coming for you, and I'm hungry.
Oh, but we were talking about this before the show started, but Samel, you're just such an inspiration. Warren Buffett said there was a story. It's this financial analysis was asking Warren Buffett, "Hey man, you have billions in the stock market, you have billions in real estate. What is the greatest investment a person can make?" And Warren Buffett looked at this financial analysis or analyst and said, the greatest investment you can make is an investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. And you know what, Samel, I could tell you're earning because you've been learning. Let,
Absolutely, absolutely.
let,
And Warren Buffett was absolutely true. Something also that I suggest people for them to do is to learn communications, learn how to communicate now more than ever, especially now more than ever, because communication, that's AI proof. AI can't connect as an interaction as we're connecting here over the phone. You're thousands of miles away, but yeah, we're building a relationship. If you can communicate, you could express. Les Brown says that when you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And so the skill of learning how to communicate is important, so important. And actually, something that Warren Buffett did was when he graduated, he actually took a communications course. He took the Dale Carnegie communication course. And so on a different interview, I heard him say that was one of his greatest investments as well. And so if you're watching this, invest in your communication skills and your ability to present, to convey messages or speak. They say that public speaking is the number one fear in the United States. The second fear is the fear of death. People are scared to speak than they are to die. And so you want to cultivate that. And as you begin to do so, and as you begin speaking with yourself, with others, it's the one thing that you can practice on a daily basis and get better at it. And you'll learn to develop yourself and grow comfortable in it and find what you're saying, your power voice.
wow. No, Samel, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Samel, I have a question for you.
Thank you for having me. Yes,
If
sir.
you could speak directly to the younger version of yourself, let's say you got to go back 10, 15 years ago. If you could speak directly to your younger self, what would you tell? What would you tell the younger Samel?
I would tell myself, trust the process. Trust the process. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't break. Don't bend. Keep working hard. Sacrifice. To achieve highly, you must sacrifice greatly. Know that you're exactly where you need to be at the time where you need to be. Trust yourself when you need to trust yourself. I would say don't look at the setbacks. The setback is a setup for a major comeback. Continue working hard and it's going to pay off. And just trust it. Continue to pray, continue to read, continue to surround yourself with like minded individuals going in the same direction as you're going and know that you have greatness within you. You're special. And if anybody here is watching this video, I say this is your time, this is your season, and this is your moment. Take that, walk with that, live in that, breathe in that, be in that. That's what I say.
Oh, dude, that's I'm ready to go on a run after this, or do something.
That's good. That's good. Absolutely. We're here to motivate you, and hopefully that's what we accomplished today. And just know that what's in me, what's in Les Brown, what's in all these great people we've spoken of many, many great intellectuals and people that have shaped the world. Know that what's in them is also in you. One day you're gonna realize this if you haven't already. And if you don't believe that, I'm here to let you know that you have something special, that you have greatness within you. And just know that at times there's going to be a process in discovering yourself, but just know that it's worth it. Just know that it's worth it, that it's possible you can leave your dream. It's possible for you to be a speaker, or you want to be a business owner, you want to be a mother, you want to be a teacher, you want to be an architect, you want to be a musician. You can live your dream. Don't listen to the people that are telling you can't do that, or why don't you get a job, or nobody in your family has graduated school. Decide to, as Robert Frost would say, he says two roads diverge in the road. He said two roads diverge in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. He was a poet, so decide to beat your heart to the drum of a different drummer, and so just follow that intuition. It's gonna guide you steadily to where it is you're gonna be at, and you'll look back at your life. We live our life going forward, but we make sense of our life looking backwards. One day you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, "My life makes sense," and if it doesn't make sense, then you're still in the process of becoming. And when you get there, you're gonna look back and it will.
Yeah. So Mel, I'm curious. Do you know? I feel like you do. Do you know any of the Les Brown's famous quotes? You know, like, if you want a thing bad enough, do you have that one memorized?
Yeah, yeah,
G- g-
absolutely. If you want something bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, and all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it. And if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famine should go, sickness of pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want. If dogged and grim, you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you will get
Amen. Amen. I had a feeling. I had a feeling he knew that one. I'm like, this guy has to know that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. We're on fire, man. Man, I was fired up, man. The phone even fell down from my desk right
yeah,
here.
yeah. The audience, they're not going to see that. We're going to edit that part out.
Okay, awesome. But yeah, I know that, and you know what? I set that to myself on many many times of wanting to give up, man. Create a system of grounding yourself with affirmations and prayer and friends and songs and videos and speeches, so that when the tough times come and they beat against your dream, your vision, your aspiration, your goals, your legacy, you can fortify yourself in what it is you like to do by those things.
So Mel, you are living proof that when you align your purpose with your passion, doors start to open. Thank you for reminding all of us on this episode today. Your energy, your wisdom is infectious, man. I'm feeling it, and
Awesome.
I hope the audience is feeling it. I know my producer Ben is feeling it. He's looking at me. He's fired up. We're gonna end here shortly, but if there was one last thing that you'd have to say to the audience, like, you've said just so much, but one last thing, maybe a quick snippet before we get off. What would you have to say?
I'd say this. If you're watching this right now, you're more stronger than what's trying to break you. You're unconquerable. You're undominable. You are unbreakable. You are destined to win, born to win, chosen to win. This is your time. This is your season. This is your moment. Walk in that, strip the very life out of your life. Live full and die empty, as Dr. Miles Monroe would say. That's what I say. And live a life before you have to die, and live it now. It's your time. It's your moment.
Oh wow, Samel. Well, thank you so much for being on the Sky
Thank you.
Media Ventures podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This was Cemel Garcia. Keep him in your thoughts. He is going places. His future is so bright. He's gonna need some shades. Man, this guy is real good. He's a smooth guy. Just great future. And ladies and gentlemen, don't ever forget, sky's the limit. We believe in you. Stay tuned. We have some more episodes coming soon, and we will be dropping this episode this coming Friday. And once again, Samel, just thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me. You have yourself a great rest of your day. And remember, you have something special. You have greatness within you.
I love that. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye bye.
Do it.